Okay, good afternoon, class. How are you today? Okay, welcome to this class today. Are you ready? Okay, good. So today we are going to have a grammar lesson, which will be led by our teacher, Mr. Yao. And after this grammar lesson, you always have homework to do, and then we will deal with your homework, the reading part, and the discussion. As always, I would like to encourage everybody to speak, to participate. Your contribution is really appreciated, and this will help you learn easily. Okay, so let's start with a grammar lesson, which will deal with the direct and indirect objects. You already know what it is in French, but just in English, you will try to uh, learn about this grammar clue, which is really important for oral oral speaking. Okay, so I would like Mr. Klima to come and take your turn. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Mrs. Rumba, for this nice introduction.
Go back on the second large screen. Take notes. Thank you. Really great.
Once again, we play it once again for newcomers, right? Is that good? So we're gonna go back for a little bit. Yeah, yeah, there, yeah. Is that the gray, the red one? Okay, good. So we're going to review some exercises already displayed on the screen, but just to know how you you do to know if it's indirect or direct object. So let's follow on. So we have here, her, s- he offered her some coffee. What is the direct object? I know you already know about it. Yeah, the lady. Yeah, it's coffee. Why? Why is it coffee? Who can tell me why it's coffee and it's not he or her or offered or some? Who can tell me? Yes, sir. Sorry? Okay, the answer is coffee. So what kind of question do we have to put before to know if it's indirect or direct? Simply to make it simple. All right, good. So we ask the question what? So to know what the verb has performed. So if we know what the verb has performed, so what is performed is the direct or indirect, right? Good. So let me answer the paper. Coffee, right? Good. So now, is there an indirect object? Her. Yeah, it's her. But why is it her? Anyway, we already know about it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. To whom did he offer the coffee? He offered the coffee to her. Right. So let's say he offered her the coffee. That's so for the next one, who's gonna read it? This time somebody to read it. And to answer the first one, yes, Sakura? Yeah. Betty drives an old car. Direct object is car. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. The rule? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Old car. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it is. But the only problem is Betty drives something. She first drives something. She doesn't drive old. She drives car. Yeah, so here the characteristic. Yes, of course. Yeah. Yeah, you do well. I know why you are somehow troubled. It's because of the French rule. In the French rule, we may say old car is the direct object. But here in English system, what we say is what does Betty drive? Betty is not driving old. She's driving a car. So old is just an adjective that shows, how the car is. Simply. Yeah, maybe it could be a new or young car. Have you come to understand? Yeah. So in English, we put stress on the basic, on what is very important. You understand? But in French, they put, they put an accent on a kind of expression that talks about what. Do you understand? So in French, we will say old car is direct object, complement d'objet direct. But in English, we say car. It may be old car, but they put stress on the most important, right? Yeah, the lady is car. Yeah. So it means if we remove the word car, the sentence won't have any sense. Do you understand? But if we remove all, does the sentence have a sense? It makes sense. So that's the most important thing to think about when you're figuring out whether it's direct or indirect. So put stress on the most important, right? Good. So finally, what is the direct object? Old car or car? Right. It's good now. Everybody has got it. So now it's car, but why it's car? Who can tell me why? Adama wants to try. Yeah. What? What? Yeah. Go ahead once again. Mhm. So we are talking about indirect or direct? Direct. Okay. Yeah. Come again. The rule. Yeah. All right. Says. Mhm. Mhm. Okay, I understand what you want, what you mean. But let's make it simple. In any sentence, um, the most valuable word and the most important is the verb because without any verb, you won't have any sense in a sentence. So the rule is the the verb is performing something. It performs ever what somebody is doing or what somebody is or what something is in the sentence. Have you come to understand? So it is all about the verb. So the verb is describing something or telling about somebody. That's why we say, let's put the question to or whom or what. But All of them, they are turning around one word, that is the verb. So always put stress on the verb. Look at the verb, look at the verb, read it, and try and see the orientation of the verb. Is the verb talking about somebody? Indirect. Is the verb talking about something? Direct. Make it simple. Who has not understand what I said? Who has not understand? It's clear for everyone? Good. So let us try now indirect object this time. Betty drives an old car. Indirect. Who wants to try? Yes, the lady. Let's do indirect. Why? Mhm. We find nobody. Is that right? Good. So always put stress on the verb. Ask the question according to the verb. Is the verb answering? So there is something. If the verb is not answering, like this one, there's no, right? Good. So let us. If you don't understand something, do not hesitate to cut it off, right? Because you're gonna have everything during your assessment about. We can read this and answer the first one. Who wants to read and try, Adama? Right, right, good. Is right. How did you know that? How? Why not bakes? All right, good. So to you, the direct object is cookies. Is everybody agree? Yeah, go ahead. Hmm. No problem. Hmm. Bakes. Who knows bakes? What is baked here? A verb or a pronoun or a noun? What is it? What is the function? It's a verb, right? So what does it mean? Bake. Don't you know bakery? What is bakery? Yeah, the new one. Yeah, yeah, in one. A cake, bread. No, we're talking about a bakery. No, how do you call this in French? Viennoiserie, or I don't know, pâtisserie, bakery, right? Pâtisserie, viennoiserie. Sometimes they say boulangerie. Everything that is related to this place, right? Bakery. So we're talking about cookies, right? So direct object is what here? He said cookies. And he asked the question, what does Granny bake? She bakes cookies, right? Right. Let's see. I know you already know about it, but let's see. Maybe you can mistake, right? Fine. So let's go now to indirect. The indirect here is us. Why? Why is it us? The indirect object here is us. Why? Who can tell me? Yes, the lady, once again. You started so well. Great, great, great. Clap for her. She tried her very best. It wasn't easy at all. Right, that's fine. So the question is, to whom Granny bakes cookies every weekend. Yes, Sakura, go ahead. Right, of course, of course. Who knows why? Why she said that indirect object most of the time comes before direct. Who knows why? Most of the time, not all the time, right? Who knows why? Who knows why? You can tell me. It's normal. It's right. Yeah, the lady, right? Yes. Yeah, thank you for trying. Who else? Adama? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Of course, that's the answer. Try it again for others. Yeah. Yes. If there's no direct object, how can you have indirect? It's the same in this in I mean um um it is same thing for both of them. No direct object, no indirect object. No indirect object, no direct object. But the thing here is what? Is that um, if you don't have indirect object, who's gonna make the action for the direct object? Who? The subject is somehow the subject is the indirect. I don't know whether you understand. Really, the indirect object is related to the subject. This is the indirect object. For example, we're talking about um, her. Her is the subject. It is a pronoun, but it is a subject, of course. So if there's no indirect object, you can't have direct object, really. Even when you say, for example, for some um, very special pronoun like it's raining, for example, I take the verb, the sentence, it's raining. Um, the it here is a kind of special pronoun. Have you come to understand? Because nobody is doing it. It's doing it by itself, right? Some people may say God is reigning, but God is reigning is not making sense. Do you understand this? So if you don't have indirect object, you can't have direct object, right? Who does not understand what I say? Who does not understand? For a sentence to have a direct object, it first needs. Anyway, at all time, the subject is always making the action. Hmm. Always.